on the school board for Orange Unified, I became very passionate about making sure that our minorities were being represented properly because I found out that we have a 90% retention rate for English learner students, which means that they stay in the English learner program year after year after year, sometimes for TK through seventh grade, eighth grade. And
What?
I started doing research on it and I discovered that a typical English learner program at a school district is like a 2-year retention rate. And then I started looking further and further, of course, because you go down deep into those dives and discovered it's all about the money.
I was
It's
just about to ask, like, how much money is attached to English learners?
it's about $2,000 to $2,500 extra per year
Wow.
per student for the
Wow.
school district. So, like, for example, my Caucasian monolinguistic kid is worth about, let's call it 13 grand for Orange Unified. If my child was an English learner, that would be about uh, 15 grand, maybe 1550 or 15.5. And if my child was an English learner and had special needs, they would be worth another 2 to 3 grand more. So my kid could be worth about 18 grand for the district if they're an English learner and if they have special needs. And so there was also a pretty high retention rate for IEP students or
I
students
was
with
just about to
IEPs.
say, isn't this now? And so now, if I don't know if you've done any of this research yet, or maybe Brenda has, but then what has our budget look like in Capo or in, in any of these districts? Like, has it just gone up? And ostensibly, you fund these programs so you have less of these kids, right? So you help these
Right.
kids to the point where you have fewer of them on. And I'd be interested
Sure.
to know what the funding has done over the years.
I would be interested in looking into that. I don't know specifics, but I did become friends with a mom through being on the school board who had a child or has a child with special needs. And she actually discovered that he brought in such and such dollars. And when she did the math on what was actually spent on her student, it was half of that. And so her students bringing in maybe 3 grand a year, let's call it, and they were only spending like $1,500 on his services, which means where's that other $1,500 going to? And you multiply that times, call it 1,000 students. That's pretty conservative, but let's say 1,000 students. That's a lot of money
That's a lot of
that
money.
they can put elsewhere. And so I didn't dive deep enough into that, but that would be an interesting rabbit hole to go down because there's a lot of top heavy school districts that have administrator after administrator after administrator at your district office. And there's, teachers that are incredible that are staying in their teaching position. They're not moving into the district offices or into a principal position. And they're paid pennies compared to these six-figure employees at the DO. And so I
This is why I want to tell everybody right now, in case I use this clip. I want to say that this is why you should never believe your school board when they tell you they don't have the money to do X, Y, or Z. They absolutely do. They have the money. When they have the money, you need to ask them where it's going. And you need to,
yeah,
again, I don't care what, if your school board is conservative, if they're liberal, I don't care. You should not accept, we cannot afford this. You should go in and find other numbers like this. Well, where's this money going? Right? Don't
right.
tell me you can't afford it and you need to raise my taxes. Meanwhile, there's millions of, and maybe probably billions of dollars pouring out into
Yeah.
the ether. We don't know where it's gone.
Well, and I don't know what your school district down in Capo is budget-wise, but I'm pretty sure, gosh, I have a little memory lapse, but I'm pretty sure it's around 400,000 or $400 million in
Yeah,
Orange Unified.
about 3 to 4, depending on your sources.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I feel
Uh-huh.
like I heard 350 thrown around there when I was in the
Yeah.
school on the school board, but I'm pretty sure it's more than that. And now that they got a 10% teachers raise, thanks to some nefarious affairs.
Mm.
There's a whole big old box of open budget that needed to be opened up to pay for that. So no, it's definitely it's a huge operation. Uh, it's a
Well, that's
business.
what we've been talking about in the mainstream media lately, is that all of this stuff is connected, right? Like the fraud, what's going on in Minnesota. And then, I mean, God only knows what's about to come down here in California. I mean, this is the king right here. This is fraud central. So we're ready
Yeah.
for all of this to get cracked wide open. But there's a lot of fraud going on inside the halls of our schools. And it's easily hid because parents care about their kids, and districts hold kids hostage, and they're
Oh
safety
yeah.
hostage a lot. And so one of the things, this is why I invited you on to talk about this today. I think parents really need to know this in Orange County. One of the things that is very insidious, but that has been placed right inside your kids' classroom and even on their ID cards right now at this point,
Mm,
is this group. And a lot of older people might not know this, Madison. This is why I want to do this show. It's a group called the Trevor Project, and it's an LGBTQ plus all the other letters organization. And they have gotten a foothold into our public schools, and they're actually getting public school money, not only to advertise their services on our children's actual cards and
badges.
and
Hmm.
classrooms and everything. But this is a very disturbing organization, and they're clearly getting a lot of money. So there's money tied up in this, but I want to talk about this. I want to talk about the Trevor Project. So first,
Hmm.
Madison, tell people, what is the Trevor Project?
So the Trevor Project, as you just said, Kira, is an organization, a website, a QR code, and a QR code is that little weird square that you see that you say it says scan with your phone, right? And what high school kid doesn't really have a phone anymore? I don't know of any. They have their ID cards that they have to wear on a lanyard, and on the back of it, it says if you need help or want to speak to somebody who will understand you, here is an anonymous hotline for you to go on to where someone's going to listen to you and um, be there for you. And so I actually made an account. I went on
I just
posing
made
as
one
a
today, by the way.
oh yeah, so I went on
A
posing
little.
as a 12-year-old. And I did it on my laptop and logged in, which was a breeze.
A
Uh,
breeze.
yep. And then the first thing, I don't know if you saw this too, the first thing it taught me was how to clear my browser history.
Yes, girl. Yes, I took a screenshot of that right
Good.
away. It is the first thing they show you. Here
Yes.
are instructions for how to exit quickly. Hit escape quick 3 times or
Mhm.
space bar. And every
And it
time you go to a
deletes
different,
it.
and it deletes it. And then every time you go to a different part of the website, you get that same message. Here's how to
Yep.
exit. Parents, honest to God, is there a single adult on planet Earth who, if they told you, I'm giving your child a website to interact with me, and you found out that that website would disappear the moment you walked into the room, if the child thinks they don't want you to see what they're looking at, would you approve of that? We have lost all common sense and reason when it comes to this LGBTQ madness. That is absolute madness. I'm so glad you brought that up.
Yeah, well, and that to me was so disturbing. I agree with you completely because that's basically teaching your child to keep secrets from you,
Yes.
the parent,
Yep.
which to me is it's very invasive and it's a boot stomp on my parental rights. And so that was disturbing. And taking it even further, and this is something I thought of. If I were to take your child, if I picked up your kid, you said, "Hey, Madison, I really need help. Can you pick up my kid from school?" If I picked them up and took them to the playground and showed them a book with nude images, you could have me arrested for, exposing your child to pornographic material. but my kid can be on a high school or a middle school because that's 12 years old. Some elementary schools, there's kids that are 12 in sixth grade. My kid can go on a website if they have a cell phone and talk to a person, an adult,
An
whether or not
adult.
they even have counseling experience. I don't even think that matters because I've heard that most of them are volunteers. If they can sit there and have a conversation with my child, that just seems horrible. I mean, that's horrific to me.
And
And
they're
so,
having and they're have just to reiterate for the audience, they're having conversations about sex because
oh
that's what
yeah,
gender identity is.
right,
That's the only conversation you can have regarding gender identity is it's about
100%,
intercourse and who you would like to be sexually active with.
a
That's the
100%.
only type of conversation. So random adults that you have never seen and not approved of are available to talk to your kids secretly about this. But not only that, the phone number for your kids to do that is on the back of their ID cards.
Well, and I don't know how much I said in that video that you said you saw on our website, but in that same interview, I'm pretty sure it was in that interview when I took a tour, because when I got elected, I said, I don't care how much these teachers hate me. I'm going to tour every single school and make sure I get to know the teachers and hear their needs. So I toured every school. And when I got to my alma mater, my high school that I went to, they had this brand new, beautiful health center. And walking through it, it looked like a college lounge. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like it was beautiful. But I walk into this counseling center and they have like no offense, but they have like the feelings corner where if you're feeling stressed, you can go sit in that corner and skip minutes from your class. Like it's interesting. But then the counselor was super proud of these two rooms with soundproof doors. And they had a window in them, yes, but they were like these little janitor closet type size rooms that the counselor said, the students can go in there and be connected with a counselor off site and have a face or like a Zoom call with these counselors in that room, and that it was very well utilized at my alma mater. And I
And
thought,
Orange, is this Orange Unified?
yeah, yeah. And it wasn't shortly thereafter that I heard from a parent whom I still stay in contact with, whose child was groomed into joining the Gay Straight Alliance Club. And then when she turned 18, members from that club came to her house and helped her pack up her bags. And her mom hasn't seen her since. And so I get it. Like this seems crazy to me, and it is crazy. But it's
Is
like,
yeah.
Madison, there's no way that's real. Well, I've seen the room where they can have conversations with an adult. They can have their QR codes now printed for easy access on their ID cards. And again, like most of your students are not going to utilize that QR code. I get it. But for the 1% that do, doesn't their life matter? Like, I feel like that life should still matter. That kid,
It's
it's just
interesting
one
you
kid, but that still matters to me.
no, it's interesting you say that because yeah, I have talked to parents who have been like, hey, once the school's done, like once my daughter or son ages out, that's it, they're gone. Like all these principals and teachers who are like, we're your best friends and we're your family now, they're gone. They don't know what
Yeah.
she's going to do with her future or not. Like that's insane to me, Madison. That's actually terrifying. But I want to talk, I want you to talk about you when you did your interview with Brenda, and I'm actually going to play a few clips from that interview. But you said, or maybe it was Brenda that said this, but Trevor's project is a pedophile's paradise.
Yeah. There's actually groups. So when I made my account and I went in there, honestly, it creeped me out to my core. And so I didn't spend as much time on there as I probably could have and should have to get more research done. But there were chat groups, chat rooms, where it was literally the name of the chat room, and I think you'll see it in the video. It was minor attracted person. So if I'm a 12-year-old, I can go into this chat room on Trevor Space and chat with an adult who's attracted to me as a child. Like, yeah, okay, the state of California is perverted, and our senator made it so that, it's no longer a felony to have sex with a person that's 10 years younger
Thank you,
than you.
Scott Wiener. Yeah.
Thank you, Scott Wiener. But still, there's an actual chat room that is labeled I don't think it's minor attracted persons, but it's something like somebody is, I can't remember it, but it's basically the premise is that you are an adult over the age of 18 that's attracted to younger people. And that, there's other groups that are just sad, and those kids also need psychological help. Like, I'm a bat. I'm a fuzzy bat. Like, I'm a kitty cat type chat rooms. And so if you're a furry, which is what that's called, then you can go into these chat rooms and talk to other furries in your cat language or whatever that is. And my heart, it sounds silly, and it is a little bit funny, but it's devastating. And the statistic on these kids who are experimenting with their gender and their identity, whatever you want to call that, it's no longer boy and girl. Now our state has made it so that you can be these weird acronyms, these weird pronouns that don't even make sense. So it is very, very sad, and it's real. And how are they learning about these things? Places like Trevor Space, teaching you that it's okay to feel weird in your skin. I'm a tomboy. Like, I grew up not even wanting to wear a real, bra when I was little. I wanted to wear a sports bra or a tank top. I was a jock. I loved playing sports. I still do. My knees are mostly broken. But if I would have grown up in this day and age, who knows who I would have came into contact with that might have said, "Oh, you clearly are a boy, and so you should identify as a boy," and in fact start going through the surgery, and all of that stuff can be exposed to
Same.
you on Trevor
Same.
Space.
Yeah,
And
I
it's
was a tomboy
it's
too. And I
crazy.
didn't like my body, and I developed early and I was really
Yeah.
uncomfortable with it. And yeah,
It's
I tried
awkward.
to, yeah, yes. And they come,
Yeah.
and that is what is so insidious about this. They catch our kids at the most vulnerable time in their lives. This is why you really
Yeah.
need to be paying attention to what's going on in
Because
school. And
every
now
kid will
every kid,
struggle with
every
feeling
kid will.
weird.
That's
Hmm.
right. And they Brenda actually talked about this on your podcast. She said, I feel like the Trevor Project makes more mental health problems because
Oh
they
yeah.
take what is normal, what is a normal cycle and a normal reaction, and they tell you this is bad. You might
Yeah.
need help. You might be non-binary. You might have other, sexual identities.
Right.
And so they create the confusion.
Oh yeah.
Um, and again, I just want to reiterate, everyone, as of July, middle school, I think it's from 6th to 12th grade or 7th to 12th grade, 6th to 12th grade, every kid, you look right now, if you have a kid in your house, right now, you take out their student ID and you flip it over. See, is this on the
Yep.
back? That is your student's invitation
Yep.
to a chat room with somebody who is attracted to minors.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Basically, that's what it is, because it can get them there and you'll never know, because that website even gives your kids, I was trying to pull it up while you were talking, Madison, but my cookies are set now, so it didn't do it. But even I did screenshot it, that
Yeah.
it will even put a message up to tell your child how to quickly exit the screen if you walk in and see it. There are
Yeah.
no other circumstances on earth for any topic in which we would be okay with this as a parent.
No.
And it's
No, I
absurd
totally
that
agree.
any school district is okay with it, or the state of California.
Well, and if okay, so that happens, right? There's this minor attractive chat room, right? You then can take it to a private chat. where it's just the two of you, because they can invite you to a private chat. What happens next? Maybe that adult, I mean, you see it in the news right now, Kira. I'm seeing it too. Teacher arrested, principal arrested, pediatrician arrested for meeting up with a student, or some bust that went awry or whatever, where it was an
Yes,
actual
we have
stage
some cases in
circumstance.
our district right
I
now.
know we
Mhm.
do as well. And so when you see all that, you think like, okay, how did this start? Like there's just so many crazy ways. And again, Trevor Space is one of them. And it's going to get worse because now it's going to be on your ID card. It's so accessible and it's so easy to get to it. California is a sanctuary state. If your child feels unsupported by you and they're going on this Trevor Space, who's to stop this Trevor Space volunteer counselor from saying, ooh, do you not feel safe in your home because your parents disagree with your identity change? And if the child says yes, that person could then say, you should call your local, regional center and tell them how unsafe you feel. And here's the phone number. In fact, I just looked up your area, and they can go into basically like a hidden child program where they go into the foster care system because they are going through an emotional bout where mom and dad aren't agreeing with their identity change. And now here they are getting, I mean, it's obviously that's a very bad scenario, but
But you
wake
nailed it.
up.
How does it start? But
Yeah,
how it starts with those freaking soundproof rooms that you walked into that day. It starts right there. It starts with the Gay Straight Alliance Club. It starts with the This Book is Gay in your library. It starts with boys in your girls' bathrooms. Like this
yeah,
is all connected, and I have no tolerance anymore, Madison, for
I
school
know.
boards who aren't willing to stand up and stand tall and not only to say we're going to do everything we can to make sure that your
Yeah,
child is protected from this, but then to also say, by the way, this is going on. Some things school boards aren't in control of, the state's doing a lot, but the school board then in turn has a responsibility to be saying in clear and plain language. They should be I should go to my school board meeting and hear my Republican and conservative representatives, it's nonpartisan, but whatever, say
we
from the
know.
dais, I should be hearing them say, by the way, Trevor Project is on the back of this. It's not necessarily a safe thing. We have to put it by state law, but here are some of the things that can happen to your kid. Every school board administrator should be saying that every
Uh-huh.
meeting. We're like,
A
this
hundred
is
percent.
red alert.
100%. And going back to what you said, I'm still to this day no longer on the school board. The teachers union had me recalled, but to this day, I'm still getting contacted through now my job with Protect Our Kids by parents in my school district who have had their kids exploited in the bathroom. First grader at the school that my kids are supposed to go to, but they won't ever, walks into the bathroom and there's a boy in there. And she tells her dad later, hey, so and so was in the bathroom. I'm really confused. And the dad marches into the principal's office and the principal says, my hands are tied. There's nothing I can do. But your child can come use the office bathroom if they have. The child no longer wants to go to the bathroom on campus, is getting UTIs because they're scared to go to the bathroom because there's an older child who's confused about their gender that's using their bathroom. When is it too late, Kira? Like, does it have to be like a child getting raped in the bathroom by?
It's already happened. All of this stuff is getting covered up, but we've
I
had
know.
incidents in
Yeah.
districts across Orange County. It's already happened. There, when
Right.
you go to your school board meeting and you see on the thing closed session,
Yeah.
I know a lot of you don't think about what goes on in the closed session. You just think, oh, it's just like employment records or something. No, there's a lot of bullshit that goes on in the closed sessions.
Mhm.
And there's a
Expulsions,
lot.
suspensions, lawsuit.
Yes. And there's a lot of dirty people in our schools right now. And they're
Hmm.
just going through the closed session process. They're still teaching your kids. They're
Yep.
still teaching your kids. You
Yeah.
don't even know who those people are. That's how bad
Oh,
it is. And your school
yeah.
board has every responsibility to be calling all of this out at every juncture. We're never going to change if we don't change how we deliver the information.
There's actually a teacher who was accused, proven guilty by the FBI in our school district for having participated in and downloaded masochistic pornographic child porn. And so, like, I'm talking like dismembering of kids during intercourse. It was disgusting. But the district allowed him to continue teaching until the FBI said, okay, we have enough information. Why wouldn't they put that person on administrative leave the second they found out that that person
Mm-hmm.
was doing this? That's insane. If I thought that maybe you were an unsafe driver, Kira, like maybe I thought you were drinking and driving, why would I put my kid in the car with you? Why would I get in the car with you? That's just, I don't know. That to me is just, I was so mad when I was on the
No,
school board.
yeah, we've been talking for a while now, so I need to cut this. I'm going to stop right here. But what do you think is the solution here? What do parents need to be doing? What do people need to be paying attention to? What do we do?
Show up at your school board meetings. Stop saying my kid's safe, so I'm fine. You should care about other people's kids too. That's incredibly ignorant of you and selfish. Your kid still has to interact and play with the kid who has no parent or no representation or no home life that's safe and secure. It's not okay for us to sit back and just say, oh, it'll work itself out. My kid's now going into college, so it's not really my business anymore. No, you have a responsibility as a citizen to care and have a heart for and want to protect all children, not just your own. And so, staying involved with legislation, going to your school board meetings, it's so easy to go to them. They're super boring and super lame, but if you just scan through the agenda beforehand and know what's going on and shoot, show up, sit there, then you're going to gain the guts to start speaking because you're going to hear something and go, wait, that doesn't sound right. Why are you okaying that? Start speaking at these school board meetings. You get 3 minutes. It's not that much time. Write
You don't
yourself a
even
little,
get 3 in capo.
I know,
You
it's
get
like
1.
one. I know.
Yeah, you get 1.
Write yourself a little script or bullet points.
I do want to hold a training actually. I want to do like a
Yeah.
training one day, training people how to get their word, get their point in quickly,
Yeah.
because usually they'll shape it down at the last minute too. So people,
Yeah.
if you're not used to speaking in public, it can be very daunting. And a lot of
Hmm.
people spend the first 30 seconds, like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
just a mom and I just want everyone to know that
Stop
I'm
it.
nice. No, you don't have time for that. You
No
don't
time
have
for
time.
social graces.
No,
But
no,
but
but
yeah,
I
I think
do.
that's my biggest advice is just show up at school
Yeah.
board meetings. That's a simple way to be involved. It's not enough to
And I
sit at
tell
home and watch
Madison
them.
people, and you're right, it's a lot. And on this show, actually, every week I post a few different school board meetings around the county. Like, here's the times, here's the
Mhm.
dates. So you can see it in the course of the show. I'm
Perfect.
encouraging people to go out. But I always like to tell people this too, Madison. If it's daunting to go to 12, 6 or 7 hour meetings a year, then perhaps you find 11 friends and
Yeah. Divide
you
and
divvy it up.
conquer.
You have a club, you have a homeschool group. Homeschoolers, you should
Mhm.
be at the school board meetings too. If you have a group, divide and conquer. You don't have to eat the whole elephant yourself. And I think that's what a lot of people get, you know, they get discouraged by. So I say,
Yeah,
get a team of people. Okay, you only hit 3 school board meetings this year. That's 3 more than you did last year. Divide the work.
absolutely. If we stay home and we stay silent, these crazy school board trustees get more and more courageous. They take more chances, they take more bites of the pie, and they continue going down that slippery slope at rapid paces that are almost impossible to come up from if we don't call them out on their BS. And until we do that, they're going to take every opportunity to continue pushing their agenda and taking away our children from us. Because if they can control our children, they're going to take over the future.
And they can control us because we'll do anything for our kids.
Yeah, absolutely.